for some reason I wanted to keep me like this, you know, this style, you know, and so trying to reset the option where it's horizontal and not vertical, pain in the ass. But like I said, I'm not an expert. Got a haircut, did it myself, of course, to save the dollars. And sorry about the traffic. This is the spot I'm staying at. It's in my bicycle. It's a coffee shop down below, and I'm up in the pods. And for $2.50 a night, you know, it's very basic accommodations. The beds are clean, the bathrooms are dirty. So, you know, what are you gonna get for $2? It's the cheapest spot there was. It's 40,000 rupiah after taxes. That comes out to $2.40. So, you know, that's in my price range. I wanted to keep a little bit of a background here, so instead of just having like, if I'm indoors, it's just a wall. So I want to have a little bit of that stuff going on. How's everybody doing? Yeah, it's definitely affordable. Being in the city, you're going to get more of the affordable accommodations. And it was actually the closest, pretty well, fairly close. So I'm not sure if you can see it, but like Irish was talking about the tower of 90, the mosque of 99 domes is literally, let's see if you guys can see it. Well, you'd have to look right back through here. You kind of can. Kind of see it popping up right there. But this is all a night market. This whole street from way down there all the way down this way. When it's not Ramadan, I don't know. Maybe it's a day market too. But right now, at least with Ramadan, everybody's shut right here. And it's pretty lively. It's pretty lively. So, you know, the location's good. There's cheap spots to eat all around here, and yeah, you know what it is Makassar is one of those cities that you can see that they spent a lot of time and effort, just like this hostel here. Spent a lot of time, money, and effort at making it really nice, but then neglected on the upkeep. And I've seen that a lot in my travels. It's unfortunate. Sometimes there's reason why, because if you build in a bad spot and you don't know it's a bad spot, it's not worth investing in that money. But sometimes it's just neglected because the person's cheap. And I think probably here, you know, they'd rather adjust their prices than clean their room, than clean the bathrooms, you know, or fix something when it breaks, you know. That's the main thing. It's like, you know, if you don't pay, as soon as it breaks, you should pay for it. You know, you should get it fixed. Because the bad reviews, you know, everything is just going to cost you the final, you know, everything's going to cost you in the long run. It's going to cost you more money fixing it later than it would fixing it now. So, and that's unfortunate because I've seen that they invested a lot of time. They no longer have a rooftop. They had a very nice rooftop at one time. You can see that they keep the bottom, the coffee shop clean, but then, yeah, it's just unfortunate. Let's see. But anyway, that's just a little bit. Hey, Matt, what's going on, brother? We got Flea. Expat Pete is here. Hey, where's Doug? Where's the sheriff? Town sheriff's not here. Are you in the new cheaper? Yeah, this is my new cheaper phone. That's one of the reasons why I want to get on here and kind of update everybody the headaches that have been popping up within this last few weeks. Actually, you know, it's going on, I think, 2 weeks now. Well, actually, the last video I uploaded right before I hit the road again. So that's when I had about 300 kilometers to get to what's that city called? The port city that I took the boat out of. Anyway, it was like 300 kilometers through the mountains and stuff. And what happened with my Samsung is I got the stronger phone holder because my last phone holder was every time my bicycle fell over, because it has a crappy kickstand. It has one of those double kickstands, but if you don't balance it right, it falls over, and it kept getting thrown. You know, it worked like a trebuchet and just like throw my phone, and I'm like, well, I can't have that. So I bought a new phone holder that clamps in pretty good, but when it falls, it tries to throw the phone, and what it does is it just exerts that pressure on the screen really hard, where I can't even unscrew it because it's just wedged in there so tight. So I think that caused the screen to crack, and it has a phone holder on it, right? And I've noticed this happen before. As sweat drops down and it starts to roll down the screen, and then gets caught at the bottom of the screen where the crack's at, and the sweat can't go any farther because that little bit of a lip that comes up, because it's a phone holder, you know, like the case that goes around the phone, so it gets stuck there and starts seeping into the screen because it's no longer got its IP60 rating because it's cracked. So I noticed my screen acting funny when that happened. Before, this time it just shut down. My whole screen shut down, and then it booted back up one time, and then it was over with. And let's see, yeah, memory, no, excuse me, More Mary was the port town. So from the spot I left, I uploaded a video. I have, I think, 1 or 2 videos. I'm gonna wait till I get to a Wi-Fi spot, that way I'm not using my data. That's on my phone. They're already edited, ready to go. I was like, I'll wait till I get it, in a spot I can upload it, right? And so those are on my phone. My Visa, I have my Visa expiring, that's coming up, and I did some calculations. I was like, I wasn't thinking it was February, which is a short month. I just naturally was like, about 30 days in a month, which is a given, right? And so I was calculating. I was like, yeah, I still have 2 weeks, before my visa expires, and Alicia wants 1 to 2 weeks. So I was like, I can wait a day or two and give her a call when I get to the port or whatever. And I can call her at any time, through WhatsApp. But as soon as I left, that's when basically my sweat drip shorted out the phone, so I had no way of contacting her. And since I miscalculated, it's only 2 days that it cost me, but it was also another 300 kilometers to get out of where I was at. And so I had to do that 300 kilometers only using a go old-fashioned, I had to do it old school. So I had to use my compass. And I have no problem with that because there's only one main road, but sometimes that main road splits off into more than one section. And I mean, the road even turns into dirt once in a while, which can make you really question, like, am I on the right road? It goes to cobblestone, it turns to dirt, it turns just completely washed out. So using the compass, trying to talk to locals without a Google Translate is hard, but when I did eventually, they got, Google Maps. They don't really understand Google Maps for some reason. Maybe Wise is the one they use, but by the time they figure out, they're like, no signal, right? So, but I learned More Mary was the right pronunciation and not, and they go, More Mary, and then they'll point the direction, and that's basically how I guided myself to get here. So that was 300 kilometers camping along the way, and I had to reduce the amount of filming I did because I knew I had nowhere to actually store it. So I slimmed down on what I was filming, and because most of my videos are running like half an hour to almost an hour per day. Hey Matt, thank you my brother for the donation. I almost reported you for that one. Anyway, let me jump on the comments here. I'll try and remember where I'm at. See you live. Happy to see you on live. Hope everything is going your way, Daniel. Watching you from Malaysia. I thought you were going to repair the Samsung. I am going to repair the Samsung, but first things first, I got to find out what's going on with my my Visa, and because I don't want to send my phone in. They're like, well, we have to send this into the into our repair spot. It'll be a week, and then my phone's in, well, and I have to jump on the plane and take off. I want my phone on me still because I can fix it somewhere else. So these are things that, so Visa first. Once I figure out what's going on with Visa, then I can do the bicycle and stuff. So good question, thank you. Yeah, it's been a kind of a delay. Drinking instant coffee, memory. Good day to see you. Okay, mate. Oh man, consider protecting new phone with screen protector. It had a screen protector. It just, even with a screen protector, it can crack, you know. The screen protector usually protects against scratches and stuff. Even the Gorilla Glass breaks. I've broken Gorilla Glass, no problem. So it had a screen protector on it. It had more of the flimsy one though. It really did. It was just one of those roll-on ones. You figure. So Visa had to come first. So all these things, and so when I did finally make it to Mormary, I had to buy this cheap phone, which was the cheapest one I could find. I was like, do you guys have used phones? And they're like, no. And so I went and I was like, which one's your cheapest? It was like 2 million, you know, which comes out to about $120. It was a little more, it's $130. So there's an expenditure that I didn't want to spend, but I had to, it's crazy knowing, losing your phone. You don't realize how much, like, so you'll see this when I get the videos up, but I kind of reflect on back in the days. You know, I actually had to stop and sit because, one, navigating by compass only kind of felt good again, but it was a little nerve-wracking because you never fully knew where you're at. Google Maps has spoiled us, but then the end of the day, after you set up the tent and stuff, and all of a sudden you're like stuck with nothing, right? I'm like, and then that nothing to do kind of sits in. You know, I actually looked up, saw the stars again. I was like, oh crap, those are new constellations, right? I was like, yeah, of course, I'm in a different part of the world, right? And you know, it's like, and for you flat earthers out there, I'm on a different part of the disc. I'm just joking. So, hey Eric, how you doing, brother? We were all just talking about you. Yeah. So, but the phone is essential. Yes, it is, Gus. But is it really? Because people still travel before the phone. I traveled before the phone, but it was in the United States, so I didn't have the language barrier. But that at night, that thing was like, what do I do now? I was like, what did I do back then? Nothing. You really didn't. You looked at the stars. If you were with someone, you talked, right? If you had a book, you kind of read it, but usually in the dark, that means you have a headlamp on and stuff. So usually you only read your books during the daytime. But all my books are ebooks, so I didn't have that choice either. And it was nothing but actually sit alone with that ongoing dialogue that's always in your head that we all have, and just sit with your own thoughts, and that's where necessary, that something like I don't want to, like, belief in God is helpful in those things, you know. Have someone to talk to so you don't feel like you're talking alone. That's always a good thing. But Yeah, it was kind of, yeah, it was an eye-opener. And I thought, you know, I'd like to do this again. You know, in a foreign country, it's kind of hard because of the language, and it's nice to use it. But just to set down the phone and travel for like a whole week with no phone, but it's nearly an impossibility. Now, I love the smartphone though. I think it's one of the best things ever invented. I got to watch it, you know, from its, you know, from when it used to be a BlackBerry, all the way up, built upon a Linux system, you know, so it's nice. But it's also that little bit of that nostalgic feel of going back and remembering what it used to be like. I'll remove that. Excuse me. So, yeah, but, you know, unplugging from, you know, I was forced to unplug from filming too, right? Or at least slim back on it, which was nice. At the end of the day, I didn't have to worry about uploading and editing, which right there, that opens up 4 or 5 hours, you know. You know, I mean, the fastest I ever get editing done is if it's a half-an-hour video, I can squeeze it out in 2, maybe 3 hours, you know, but usually that's just how it is. But, you know, 4 hours for an hour, yeah. So with all that said, when I was in Moormary, I contacted Alicia, and she's like, yeah, there's no problem. You should. I was like, can I go to Makassar where, you know, I can start getting my phone fixed, my bicycle? She says, yeah, that's no problem. Go ahead and go over there. I'll line up everything with the immigration office there. Remember, this is like on Friday, you know, Thursday or Friday. And yeah, it was, I think, a Thursday. So by the time I got on the boat and started heading over here, that's when she informed me, after I got here and was in reception again, she's like, they just took away that option, you know, the no-show, you don't have to, you can do it remotely type thing. She's like, it requires you to come in. And the reason why I don't think I can set it up here is to do that, I would have had to probably gotten a sponsor that's here. Also, they require, I think, a change of address, which takes 2 to 3 weeks just to put in a change of address. Yeah, Indonesia is kind of a little bit, well, it's easy than hard from what I understand, to do these processes. So she advised me 2 options: either get on a plane, fly over the valley, and then come back and continue on with my journeys, or fly out of Indonesia, reapply, and come back in. And when I calced up all the math, it was the cheapest was the valley option. Even when you take into consideration of the, you know, like the agent fee is not really that much, 800,000, because they pay the $1 million off the top. So that $1 million would cost me anyway. So, and it's nice kind of having her handle everything. When you're working at the last 2 days, I would have just had to ditch my bike. Well, someone came through for me over on Telegram. Very thankful. She contacted her friend here who knew someone that's about 4 kilometers, I think, down the way. And he said I could, you know, store my bicycle there, and I probably will when I go to Bali. So yeah, so all these headaches just happened all at once, and so I was really pressed. I was like, I got to get this visa. I need to know if I can safely start doing my phone and my bike now, you know. So this morning, which is Monday, and tomorrow it expires, like, get out of the country. And I'm not sure if they actually charge you for overstaying on the 3rd when it expires. I kind of heard that through the grapevine, but I don't know that for a fact. And oh, Matt, this is the 900 milliliter one. It costs about 90 cents. Matt bought one of these in the States. He couldn't find it, right? Procari Sweat. He found one of the smaller bottles, and it was almost like $8 or something crazy. I was like, oh crap. You know, for $1, yeah, a little over like $1.30, $1.40, you can get a 2 liter of this stuff here. So, so she was able, I contacted her today. I said, should I worry about overstaying my stay here? I haven't received it, you know, I know it's the only day that so she wrote back and she's like, don't worry, everything's handled. You can relax. So that's all I needed to her. So everything's in her hands. I can now take my phone in and bring it into Samsung and see what I can do about that. And I can safely leave to Bali, go do the interview, come back. And my bicycle really only needs a new chain and new tires, at least the back tire. Is getting a little worn. So, and to top that all off, you know, all that, there's, yeah, forgot to mention that. So on the 300 kilometers trying to get here, I finally decided, well, I'm just going to throw it in granny gear and hope that the master link that I bent out of place trying to get up the hills will hold. And I was wrong. It was like probably the last 30 kilometers before I got to Mormari. I was trying to tackle the hills without pushing, and about that far from the master link, I pulled another one out, and yeah, pulled it apart, and yeah, that sucked. So I tried to bend it back with the needle nose pliers I had, and no real luck. And then I found someone that had a compressor and was selling gas out front of his little house, and I figured, he might help, but no Google Translate, so he started bending it with wire clippers, you know, heavy duty wire clippers. I was like, don't do that, you know. First off, that's the wrong tool to use, so I freaked out a little. And it's kind of tense when neither of you can speak each other's language, and yeah, and so, but eventually he lucked out, because I could tell from the look on his face that he didn't think that was going to happen. He was able to bend it back where it popped back on, and that's been holding right now, but I need to get a new chain. So anyway, let's see. You have overcome it, and you are now knowledgeable from it. This is a flying by the seat of your pants kind of travel. Hey, it has been the whole time. Look back at my early videos, man. I just winging it. I bought a cheap bicycle and just hopped on it and started pedaling, man. I haven't quit yet. But yeah, no, this is all flyby. Yeah, it's the direction I go is usually the way the wind's blowing, you know. Yeah. So yeah, when it's just funny, Flea, how when these problems happen, they all seem to happen all at once, you know. It's nice to know you're a millionaire and can spin. Yeah, it's nice being a millionaire. That way I can just drop cash like this everywhere. And for you guys that don't know, I am self-funded. I do get donations, but I'm not a big channel. I'm not making a lot of money off the donations, but I appreciate every single one of them. So someone wanted to call me an e-bagger, and I'm like, I'm not an e-bagger, dude. Watch my videos. You know, it was actually when I was in Pattaya, there's a video I have that I sit down and explain where my income came from, working at scrubbing poo and saving my money, living in a tent. And then I also have a basic income that comes through that I call my my pension. But yeah, so it's like this trip is self-funded, and it's just, you know, what is what qualifies as below poverty in the United States is living like middle class in a lot of the other spots. So the money I make puts me below poverty in the United States. But, you know, when you're paying like $8 to $10 just to get a sandwich at Subway, you know, that's ridiculous, you know. You're talking about 150,000 rupiah for a Subway sandwich. You know, would you pay that? Hell no. So, but, you know, so, S-tier hydration, yeah, ionization. Did you get the confirmation that your visa? Yeah, well, I haven't gotten it in the mail yet, so I'm waiting on, but she has the access to my portal when I did it online the first time, like when I applied the first time. Then she extended it. I sent her all that. So it's all digital. I just have to wait for immigration to send me, we received your payment. But if she says there's no problems, I'm gonna, you know, she's the agent. She's been doing this, you know, for, I don't know how long, but she's been doing it long enough to take her word on it. And a lot faster than I would have been able to do it. So, you know, because by the time I got here, it was the weekend, you know, so you couldn't handle anything. And this is the first day that she's able to get in there and make the payments, so. Usually buy 2-liter bottles. Yeah, the only reason I buy the 1 bottle, Fleece says I usually buy the 2-liter bottles of appropriate sweat, is these have been running like 14,000 rupiah, and they're cold. Where the other one runs like 24 rupiah, 24,000 rupiah, right? So, but it's always warm. You hardly ever see the 2-liter that's cold. So I buy this one because the price difference isn't much to get it cold. You know, that's the main reason. And it's easier to carry around. But yeah, they're not bad. I still like 100 plus the best though. Probably because it's carbonated. Alright, let's see what I'm doing here. Travel so far to find where it is. Yeah, okay, so good. I have to travel far to find Procure Sweat. It's at $7.98 USD for a 1.5 liter. Oh, that's not too bad. Oh, yeah, that's bad. This is 900 milliliters, so yeah, you're getting a little more then. Hey, Arizona, Kirk Ferguson. Oh man. Hey, my brother Kirk's here. How you doing, brother? Me and Kurt were in the same cult together. I kid you not. We didn't know it was a cult until we got out. No, we were in the Messianic type thing a long time ago, but yeah, he was one of the few brothers that I can actually still talk to. So I only have 2 people that I really know back in the States. I don't have friends and family that so I have Kurt Ferguson and my good teacher Peter. Those are the 2 people. So Kurt helped me out when I was getting monetized by me using his phone number, and my good brother and teacher Peter helped me out with his address because they need to physically mail you something. So that's how I got monetized. But other than that, they're just really close to my heart, and you know, I love them dearly. So nice to see you here, brother. I'm in Indonesia now, but I might be coming back to the States here pretty soon for a reset, and I probably should talk to everyone here about that. Adrian, thank you. Everybody give that a like. Let's see if I can give it a, come on. How do you put a heart on it? Sorry, I'm catching up on this. It's not letting me give you a heart. There you go. I got it done. There you go. Yeah, so you're still over in Arizona, Kurt. that's so you haven't sold your property, or did you? I'll try and get in touch with you, especially if I go back. I'll have to tell everybody about that. So Doug says, when the chain broke, were you in the lowest gear or the highest gear? Just curious how much torque being applied. That would be the lowest, like the easiest gear. So I think that's lowest gear. I think that's the terminology. So yeah, both of them the easiest gear. So that would be the smallest one and smallest one. Yeah. And that's how I bent it out. And the incline was pretty steep. But nothing like the first 150 kilometers, but still there was some good hills. Cheap and heavy bicycle. Irish, it's pretty weighty. It's all the baggage that I'm carrying. I think a lot of it's unnecessary. I need to do, Sam, where are you now? San, I'm in San Edison, my good brother San Edison, guys. That was the guy in the last video that brought my spirits back to me, you know, that I almost was an idiot and declined his offer to have a cup of coffee with him, just because I was like, I need to go, you know, with all these things and, you know, the uphill and all these things. And so he was the one that, you know, just sitting and with him and his family and, you know, talking with him. Right now, brother, I'm in across the water in Makassar. Yeah, brother, Kurt, I'll try and get a hold of you. I'll try to get a hold of you. This is a new phone though, so trying to figure out how to get a hold of you is going to be kind of fun. Maybe you could go to, maybe you can go to the Telegram and we can exchange information privately with each other through Telegram, and you can get my WhatsApp or something. And but if I come back to the States to reset, there's a lot of things I need to do back in the States. I'd like to come visit you again. Smallest, biggest one in back. Is it the smallest one in front and the biggest one in back? Okay. He is homesick. No, I'm not homesick. Not at all. Okay, so on the 10th of this month, so what is that? In 8 months, I have to start figuring out how to get a card sent to someone if I'm going to do it that way. They have to activate it within the United States, and then they had to send it to me, basically, is the old routine of doing it. So I would have to use someone like either Kurt or my teacher Peter to do that. But a secondary account, so try to open a Wise account. They said no, because I'm trying to do it foreignly, from a foreign country. I did this back in Morocco, and it was just no go. Someone's like, maybe it's your age, that could be a thing too. They don't necessarily want old geezers. They want like the younger people, I think. That's what I was told. But I have a backup card. I have a backup card, but it's activated, but I don't remember what the you know, how to actually access it. It's I don't know what the PIN number is and all this, and neither of my accounts are international, so that one, it doesn't even know that. You know, trying to get all that worked out. I need basically to go back, figure out how to get a new card, get my other bank up and rolling. The other bank I had to open just because I needed a spot to store my Social Security cards and my birth certificate. And in Tennessee, if you open up this bank account, they give you a lockbox, you know, for like $30 a year, like really cheap. It was either 15 or 30. So I had to open an account with them. I do have an account with them, but that was more or less just to lock up my stuff like my birth certificate and stuff, because, you know, that's not something you want to carry around in your bag, you know. And so I'm thinking about going ahead and trying to finish off the rest of this northern island. I'm going to have to skip this island that I'm on, because by the time everything's fixed and done, I've already lost about 2 weeks, you know, off my 8 weeks, you know, extension. And so I'll be working with like 6 weeks total. And it just doesn't give enough time to do both islands. If I take a passenger boat from here across the water to Borneo, the route that me and D-Man and everybody figured out over on the Telegram board is about 1,600 kilometers. That's the best route. And that's to get back up to Malaysia, do the Malaysia, try and do the Philippines, and then basically I could basically say that I conquered Southeast Asia, starting in Vietnam, Cambodia, Thailand, Malaysia, basically all of Indonesia except for the smaller islands, just the major islands in Indonesia. And remember, that'll be 6 months in Indonesia. That'll be the longest I've been anywhere. But if I could knock off the Philippines, that'd be cool too. And then from the Philippines, fly back to the States. But continue the American Hobo thing over in the States. Like, I would like to go over there and hop the trains all the way across the United States and back, and basically document that. Really hasn't been done since Stove the Hobo was probably the last one that actually filmed, well, actually the first one, and the last one to really document all the travels. There's also Shoestring and stuff like this. I'm not gonna discount the other ones, but Stove the Hobo is the most famous. Unfortunately, he died a little while back. I never got to meet him. Shoestring I might have met. Everybody's like, is that your brother? You guys look a lot alike. No, we just got the old classic hobo look. But if I'm back in the United States, that'll allow me to do a lot of stuff. It's so damn expensive to go back though. It'll be all tent living and riding the trains. I could pick up a bicycle and do the whole South America route if I want to. But yeah, so the main thing that might have me have to do that is because my card's expiring, and it's going to be very hard to actually get everything done and sent to me. Yeah, San Edison is a very cool dude. Honestly, if you guys, you know, there's nowhere to really stay out there. But if you talk to San Edison before time, he might have already opened a B&B by that time. I know we talked about, there is a B&B listed there. That was his first attempt to try and open one, I think. It was this conversation me and him are having. And that area is very nice. You know, there's a waterfall out there. It's a nice area, but yeah, if you're ever passing through, try and get a hold of San Edison. He's a very, just have a cup of coffee with him. He's awesome. That's a little part of it. Yeah, I can always come back and do a little bit more, like once I knock off some things. Yeah, if I go back to the United States, when I first left, it was the first time, so it says, yes, you need to go back to the United States to sort out banking, credit cards before you proceed to Australia, New Zealand. They need to see your financial records, ETA and all that. That's no problem, because financial records I can do through my Google accounts. Like I said, Google is basically your avatar. You know, as long as you can get into your Google Gmail, it gives you back a lot of control on your phones. But like right now, because I'm having a new phone, it's giving me a lot of difficulties. I can't even do Grab. You know, I can't download the Grab app. I can't do a lot of things. I can't set up a Wise account. But when I left, like 3 years ago, I didn't know any of this. I just hopped on a plane and left. You know, I was like, I want to get out of the country. You know, so I had to learn all these things that I should have done back in the U.S. before leaving. So I've been just winging it and struggling through the times. But if I do go back, I'm definitely documenting. You know, with a name like American Hobo, I need to go back and ride the trains and document it. You know, so and then if I want to pick up a bicycle and do like a Canada or Alaska all the way down to the Horn of South America, you know, I could do that too. These are all possibilities. So yeah, that's what it looks like might be happening in the next few months. Next 6 months. I hope they don't try and send me a card to my last address. I told them I was traveling abroad, but you know, they still want to do a 2-step verification through my Hawaii phone number. So, and the only reason I wouldn't go back to Hawaii is it's basically the same price as going back to the United States. And Hawaii is really rough for being homeless in. In Maui and Kihei, I was there. I was accepted into the homeless group that was on the beaches 1, 2, and 3 up in Kihei. Don't ask me to pronounce the names right; they're just too hard. And the group I was in Beach 3, so those were like. But they also kind of had ownership of 2, you know. And the homeless community is by beaches, and they group together to watch each other's backs. And if you don't know the community that you're staying on that beach, then you're a target. You know, you know, it's you can be a target. And then you have the lone wolves that are going from beach to beach trying to steal people's stuff. And then you have the locals, kids coming down from the mountains to steal from the homeless people too. So yeah, Hawaii is very beautiful, but there's a really rough underbelly. The first time I went there, I had power banks, solar panel, water filters, all this stuff, you know, my sleeping bag, all this, because my tarp, everything, because I'm expecting like the movies, jungle. I'm like, I'll go out to the jungles, you know. And it wasn't like that. I hit Honolulu, and I was like, oh crap, this isn't like the movies. Well, the movies are all filmed on the Big Island, one of the least populated ones, and the biggest. And so all my stuff was stolen from me within the first week because I was a heavy drinker. And I got plowed at the, all the homeless people drank out front of the Walmart, you know, in town. And yeah, everybody kind of, just got drunk there. So I get drunk with all the homeless people, and then go wander off somewhere and try and find a little corner to fall asleep in. Well, I fell asleep on the beach, the grass next to the beach, and a bunch of kids came by, like 2 or 3 of them, grabbed my stuff, took off running. By the time I got up, started chasing them, I'm like, what am I going to do if I catch them? You know, I'm still drunk, and there's more of them than there was me, so I made the smart decision just to let them go, and just call it a loss. And Hawaii is one of those places you don't need gear. You don't. It's 70 to 80 degrees all year long, and the coldest it's going to be is like 70, and that's when people start complaining about how they almost froze to death. And you just basically need a ground mat so you don't get bit by the little like sand fleas. At least that's what they call them there. And if you're on the grass, you can get it by the scorpions. Not the scorpions, the centipedes. Big centipedes, big. And so most people prefer to sleep on the sand because, you know, the centipedes hurt a little bit worse than the sand fleas. So, So I'm not going back to Hawaii because for that reason, because it costs almost the same about going to back to the mainland. And if I go back to the mainland, I can continue on filming a hobo life, you know. I'm not sure if I'll change the channel name because right now I'm kind of locked into what the algorithm thinks I'm locked into. You know, like, oh, you're part of this group over here, and you know, so sometimes just changing a channel name and starting a whole new channel, the algorithm tries to see what you fit in again, and it starts promoting you. But right now it doesn't want to promote me at all. It just wants to send my content out to my subscribers and a little bit more, you know. So I usually have, like, all of a sudden, but it does. It still tries to send my stuff out to new people, just not as many as like when I first started. Well, I don't know. When I first started, I only had like 60 people at most. Anyway, I'm blabbing. Yeah. So don't take my word. Don't hold me to my, you know, to me saying that I'm leaving the, you know, going back to the United States. But there's a great possibility that might happen, and if it does, then I'm going to go back to the United States and document a train travel all the way across the United States, probably going by midline and returning on the high line. Those are the two major ones. The low line is, the southern line is, I think they stop somewhere in Texas and kick you off. They go over the whole, you know, the whole train with mirrors and everything, looking for illegal immigrants. That's how it's always been. It's not just because of Trump or something. It's just how they always been. And then it's like 10 to 20 miles to hike out to the next spot that you could catch out at. So I've not taken much of the lower line, just from like Arizona out to California and back through the Mojave Desert. But I'll probably catch up from Sparks and just document what it's like. Anyway, these are just ideas. And yeah. Alright guys, let's see. Let's get a Wise and a Revolt 2. Yeah, when I get back, if I go back to the States, I'll get as many cards as possible. It just, I think they don't want, you know, it's kind of hard to open up anything when you're a foreigner traveling around trying to use either a Dropbox or like a hostel, you know, an address to a hostel. These things all show up on record now. I remember trying to get a P.O. box that had a legitimate, so the way you used to do it, you got a P.O. box that had a legitimate street name number. So mine was 114 Stewart Road, right? And instead of putting PPB, private post box, I just put APT, like for apartment, and then 103 or whatever. That way it looked like a legitimate address. The problem with is now on computers, all of that stuff comes up. So they type it in over at the DMV or something. They're like, no, you can't do this. This is a post office box. And they don't want, so the old way of doing it is no longer really feasible. Once in a while you can do it. But in Tennessee, you can register as a homeless person. So I did that with the DMV there. That's one of the states that allows you to register as homeless, you know, or without home, or I think the way they politically keep it, you know, the politically correct is full-time traveler. I mean, it's not off. What about the other U.S. islands on top of the Philippines? Guam, Marshall Islands. Yeah, you got the Samoan Islands. You got yeah, it's American Samoans is a U.S. territory, I think. Some of these are U.S. territories, and not actually. Hawaii is a state, but I don't know what all is qualified on a territory. I know there's they can't vote, which I think they should be able to. I think Puerto Rico should be able to vote, but It would be easier if I'm back in the States because I'll have easier camping. Something I have to realize is I can't afford housing and I can't afford hotel rooms and stuff like that when I get back to the States. It's going to be all strictly camping and snowbirding. That means when the weather is cold, you go down south, and when the weather is warm, you go up north. Either that or you winterize your camp, and that takes a lot of effort, and it takes the first few rains and just make sure everything's actually waterproof. So if I get back to the United States, I won't have the luxury of being able to afford a spot like this. I'll be spending my money basically on food or eating I'll be eating in the homeless shelters. I won't be sleeping in the homeless shelters. Real vagabond eats at one, but doesn't sleep at one. But it will be interesting to see how that life is and the life that I come from and the life that I'm extremely comfortable with. And that's the only reason I'm able to apply that lifestyle worldwide is because I've been living it for such a long time. I love it too, man. Honestly, you know, you can either have comfort or freedom, but you can't have both of them. You can have one or the other. If you want to work, you're giving up your freedom, but you'll have the comforts of a nice TV. You'll have, you'll have your TV. You'll have your games. You'll have your computer. You'll have your nice car, your fiance, whatever. Or you can give up all that and gain the world. You know, give up everything to gain the world, and then, but you are giving up the wife. You're giving up the car. You're giving up, but you're gaining back your freedom to do. You know, but you can't have both. I've said this in the past. It's just, so you need to try, you need to be in both worlds though. Figure out which one you are. You're either one or the other. And I worked for a long time in Las Vegas. I was a casino boss, a shift manager. So I worked my way up to actually running the casino. I paid for my way through college for it. While living in the back of my car. You know, that's what I did when I first got there. I lived in the back of my car till I got a job. But you know, I had all that stuff, but you know, it required me working all the time. And then I also would go back to being a vagabond, and eventually it's like, why am I jumping back and forth? I got to figure out what I am. And I was like, I like the freedom better. But honestly, I'm comfortable with giving up the luxuries of life for the luxury of freedom. So anyway, that's my recommendation. Try both, see which one you are, and stick with it. You know, but once you make your decision, 100%, you know, and you'll be happy. For now, I'm in Macassar. I'm in Macassar right now. I see either dozen virtual mailboxes service these days. You can choose and try city and address. Yeah, virtual mailboxes. I don't know if those come up as like if the government actually runs it through, if it comes up as an actual legitimate address. Thing is, I need an actual legitimate address I'm living at. So. Yeah, Malaysia has companies that you send a mail to address if it was your home address. Yeah, it just depends if it comes up as a business on the computer or if it comes up as residential. The place itself has to be, the address itself has to be a residential address. Not just a street name look residential. If they put it in, it will come up a business and they're like, we can't do that. Anyway, it's going on 54 minutes. I better cut this here. You know, Matt, there's, when I say you can ease into it at first, you know, until, like, if you want to do the both, then I definitely, like I said before in the past, go do the vagabond thing for, like, the summertime. You know, like when spring hits, like the later part of spring when everything's really nice, go out, and once fall starts, go back to work. You know, and work through the winters and stuff. And then, you know, anytime, and only vagabond during the good weather, because you're still going to get hit with the bad weather once in a while. You're going to get rained on, you're going to get cold, you're going to, so just do it the easy way first. And then when you get, you know, you get a little bit of the experience, then you can start working through the harder stuff. Into the Woods. The true story about Into the Woods was, a lot of that was kind of reading between the lines, because he only actually wrote on the side of the book that he had on wild edibles and stuff, like notes, and they kind of try to fit together the scenario how he died and stuff. But fact is, he went out to Alaska to prove himself, and anybody that's, you know, been doing bushcrafting and survival and stuff, eventually they're like, okay, I'm gonna go see if I got what it really takes. And the thing is Alaska will kill you. You know, I did mine at the bottom of Donner's Pass, and that winter was bad. But the thing is, only about 15-minute drive down the road is Auburn, California. You know, and the temperature difference is a good 10 degrees, you know, and straight down the mountain, you know, and it's the last turnaround point stuff. But Alaska, you're going way out in the middle of nowhere, you know, and he got stuck in like a hunting cabin bus and stuff, and yeah. But yeah, don't be gung-ho about trying to see how strong you are right off the bat. You know, those calluses come in later. So yeah, nothing wrong with it, doing both for a little while. Just eventually you'll have to make the decision which one you are. What happened? Anyway, can you guys still hear me? Give me a thumbs up. Huh. Okay. I was going to end it anyway. Someone just put, what just freaking happened to Hobos? So maybe they lost connection. Alright. So that's it. We gone on for an hour. That kind of updates everything. It once I get my phone back from being fixed, I'll be able to upload those videos in sequential order. That's the thing is, I'm kind of a stickler when it comes to having stuff out of order, and so I'll have those uploaded and stuff, and then I can edit up the material I got and start sending it out to you guys. But other than that, that's all kind of the bad stuff. And also, I took down the Telegram. I think I said that because of a spammer. I lost control over the old board a long time ago. I switched SIM cards, but I didn't transfer ownership of that board over to my new number. And by the time I realized it, it was too late. So I don't have the option of getting rid of anybody on that old board. You know, banning them and deleting them and all this. So the new one I started up, it's me and Doug from Planet Doug, are the town sheriffs, and other than that, yeah, I think that's all that's needed. If I need to add someone later, like Flea or Tom or something, I can always do that. But yeah, if you guys want to, join over there. That way, with these upcoming weeks and stuff, when everything's happening, you can still have a dialogue with me. And I'll stay active on that. And at first I wasn't real good with it, but then I'm pretty well daily on that board. And it's Planet Doug's board too. I mean, even the old one was Planet Doug's board too. He's the one to ask any and all questions to if you want a good explanation. And Flea is good, and Tom's good for all the foreign stuff. And yeah, and Dimitri is new. He's actually been helping me a lot with the planning for my route planning and bringing up really good suggestions. So hey brother, thank you so much. And Adam, I'm glad I got you. Yeah, but anyway guys, I'm gonna end it now. That's my update, and yeah, I'll be heading to Valley next. Bye bye.